Ezra went ahead and filed a big declaration. There's a bunch of attachments. Most of them are sealed, and the things that aren't sealed, they don't really show much. But what I'm trying to do is I'm learning about all this law stuff, but I'm trying to figure out why they would file this now. And I think that it's just purely strategic because there is a motion for judgment on the pleadings on the board, right, to throw out a bunch of Blake Lively's claims. And I think that they're trying to seed the record and they're trying to protect themselves in case the judge grants that motion for judgment on the pleadings. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but I could be getting this stuff wrong. And I looked up this Rule 37, right? And so I'm trying to think, okay, Signal it's the whole point of Signal is to delete the messages, right? That's the whole reason why you would even use Signal is to put it on auto delete. From my understanding, the sanctions only apply if they failed to preserve the evidence, if they were like intentionally just like being neglectful and that's why it was lost, or if it can't be replaced and like the intent was to deprive Blake Lively and her legal team of seeing those messages. But if Signal's disappearing timer was on long before the lawsuit was even filed, they weren't intentionally destroying anything. They were just communicating the way that they intended to. And it looks like Blake Lively and her legal team are trying to argue that, as of late 2023, early 2024, they should have known we were going to sue them. Like, they should have known they needed to keep... And it's like, what? That seems like a stretch. So I don't know if they can sanction them under this if they were using the app before they were ever told that they needed to preserve their messages. And so I think that they filed this whole motion and they did all of this thing for the sanctions to try and flip the script because I think Blake has been getting some bad press lately. Not only that, I'm sure now that discovery's over, it sounds like they may not have the smoking gun that they need. So they're, when they turn it around and they accuse the other side of spoiling evidence and saying, oh, well, we would have had evidence if they hadn't of intentionally deleted it. And so if they get away with, getting the jury to be instructed this way, that's going to be some bullshit. Whew, I'll tell you what. This filing gives her a little bit of momentum, but it also I think it's probably going to distract the judge and the court away from the motion for judgment on the pleadings. Because if Lyman ends up granting that MJOP and knocks out her major part of the case, they'll want a live sanctions issue there and alive so that way on appeal, if they try to appeal that decision, then they can go in and say, you know what? They destroyed the evidence. We couldn't make our case because they destroyed it. It's basically a built-in insurance policy for an appeal. This is such a media move. I'm getting hot. I'm gonna have to turn on I'm heated.